Surely, you have heard of the Knights Templar, one of the most enigmatic and influential organizations in history. But have you ever wondered what challenges these knights endured to become a legend? From warriors protecting Christian pilgrims on their journey to Jerusalem, to individuals whose strength transcended the limits of faith and power. The journey of the Templars is not only about courage, but also about the psychological trials and the very nature of humanity. We are all afraid of death, but if you accept it, you will see that it is not the end, but a transformation. Carl Gustav Jung. This quote by Carl Jung is the key to unlocking the profound soul of the Templar Knights. They fought not only against external enemies, but also confronted their own fears and the invisible transformations in their minds. This video will not only immerse you in a captivating historical tale, but it also invites you to explore the inner world of these great individuals, helping you discover the hidden strength within yourself. Join me, and you will not just hear a story. You will feel transformation and enlightenment. Allow yourself to be immersed in the mystical journey of the Templars and discover the profound lessons about faith, sacrifice, and devotion. Elements that continue to live on in each of our souls. Analysis and commentary on Part 1. The birth and development of the Knights Templar. When we speak of the Knights Templar, it is not merely a group of knights with superior military and financial power, but a powerful symbol of dedication. A battle not only fought on the battlefield, but also within the very soul of humankind. Founded in 1119 AD, the Templar Order is not just a story about warriors protecting Christian pilgrims on their way to Jerusalem, but a symbol of the quest for meaning, a psychological journey of hardship to achieve lofty ideals. From the very beginning, the Templar Order was not simply a military force. It was founded by 9 French knights, whose goal was to protect Christian pilgrims as their way of life. Initially, the order was named the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, but in a short period, it quickly evolved into an influential organization, not only in Europe, but also in the Middle East. This development was not just the result of military battles and conquests, but also the building of a strong faith and ideal, a psychological revolution in which the Templars sought a deep connection with the unseen world, with their true selves. In Carl Gustav Jung's philosophy, we clearly see the presence of the shadow within every human being. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung, Psychological Aspects of the Self. The Templar Knights, as soldiers of Christ, had to confront not only external enemies, but also face the darkness within themselves. The battles they fought were not only on the battlefield, but also within each individual. As warriors who revered Christ, they had to merge religious ideals with fighting strength, humility with power, faith in Christ with the desire for worldly power. The darkness Jung spoke of was the internal struggles of these knights, their fears, guilt, and even their uncharted ambitions. According to Jung, confronting and understanding the shadow is a crucial step in developing the self. In the case of the Templars, facing the challenges on the battlefield and in spiritual journeys was a process of self-discovery. From the early knights, with the humble goal of protecting Christian pilgrims, the Templar Order quickly evolved into a powerful organization. They did not only fight to protect, but also to build an empire. With rights and influence over nations and popes, this reflects a part of the shadow within every human being, an undeniable desire for power and influence. In this way, the Templar Order, like the psychological journey of an individual according to Jung's philosophy, had to confront deep internal conflicts. While they swore oaths of poverty and humility, They accumulated vast wealth through donations and financial initiatives, such as the development of letters of credit, which revolutionized the medieval financial system. The Templar Order not only built fortresses and castles, but also created a powerful financial empire, becoming banks trusted by European kings. This highlights one of Jung's great philosophies. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung, the Templars, from humble soldiers, became brilliant heroes, not only because of their combat skills, but also because of their ability to create a great financial system which had a lasting impact on the development of modern banking. However, in this powerful development, they entered into another struggle, a battle between religious ideals and uncontrollable ambitions. They gradually surpassed feudal obligations and directly answered to the Pope, which not only proved their organizational strength, but also demonstrated that within each of us exists a conflict between what we believe and what we desire. Ultimately, the rapid development of the Templar Order was not just the result of military or financial victories, but also a psychological journey, a journey to harmonize the self with the outside world. Just as Carl Jung shared, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. The Red Book. Through their journey, the Templars awoke and recognized what they truly desired, the power they could achieve, and the sacrifices required to maintain their original ideals. However, this awakening did not always lead to perfection. On the contrary, it led to conflicts, mistakes, and ultimately their downfall. Thus, the journey of the Templar Order is a living example of confronting the inner shadow, the conflicts between ideals and ambition, between faith and power. They were not just warriors, they were individuals wrestling with their own selves. And through this, we can reflect on our own psychological journey, the internal conflicts we must face and overcome to achieve enlightenment. Analysis and commentary on Part 2, the characteristics and role of the Templars. In the first part of the story of the Knights Templar, we explored the fundamental aspects of their origins and development, from a small group of knights to a powerful military and financial force with great influence. However, this extraordinary growth was not merely the result of military victories. It was also the product of a strong ideal and philosophy of life, which formed a unique organization with distinctive characteristics and roles. This is the next chapter in the psychological journey of the Templars, a story about how they integrated elements of religion, military power, and finance into their lives, thereby creating an empire not only in the material world, but also in the hearts of people. As Carl Gustav Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Carl Jung, the undiscovered self. The Knights Templar, despite starting as a small group with the goal of protecting Christian pilgrims, faced one of the most intense confrontations in life: the acceptance of themselves and the transformation of their ideals. The knights, dressed in white cloaks with the Red Cross, were not just warriors in the Crusades. They also embodied the role of religious monks, soldiers of faith. This dual role created profound internal tension, reflecting one of the most important conflicts in Jung's philosophy. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung, psychological aspects of the self. With their white cloaks and red crosses, the Templar Knights not only symbolized dedication, but also faced the shadow of their own selves. As Jung pointed out, they were not only warriors protecting Christian pilgrims, but also individuals struggling with their nature, a blend of faith in God and the strength of worldly power. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. Memories, dreams, reflections. This is the journey of the Templar Knights. A journey to seek harmony between the sacred and the worldly, between spirit and material. Throughout nearly 2 centuries of existence, the Templars expanded their influence not only in military matters, but also in finance and diplomacy. Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Carl Jung. The Templar Order could not simply exist within the confines of being Knights of Christ. They had to adapt and transcend their original limits. Each crusade, every battle, every encounter with nations, popes, and military leaders was an opportunity for them to change, to adapt, and to build a new world in their own image. These events, in a way, were not just struggles for power, but also confrontations with the very nature of humanity, about what we can achieve when we find a purpose greater than ourselves. With this development, the Templar Knights built a powerful empire, not only in military terms, but also in finance. With innovative financial initiatives, the letters of credit they developed revolutionized the medieval financial system, allowing them to control the flow of money, not only in the Crusades, but also in international trade. This highlights the connection between power and money, a theme that was integral to the lives of the Templar Knights. As Carl Jung shared, money is a very strange thing. It comes and goes and makes men change their values. Carl Jung. For the Templars, money was not just a financial tool, but a symbol of power, of desire, and at times, of the internal conflicts they had to face. The development of the Templar Order over nearly 2 centuries also reflected a delicate adaptation between Western and Eastern cultures. As the Templar Knights defended Christian territories in the Holy Land, they not only fought external enemies, but also had to adapt to the military strategies, cultures, and psychological differences between the West and the East. This was part of the psychological journey that Jung described as a process of integrating opposing elements within the self. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Carl Jung. Memories, dreams, reflections. The Templar Knights did not just accept Eastern cultural elements. They assimilated them, making them an inseparable part of their military and financial strategies. This assimilation helped them not only survive, but thrive, becoming one of the most powerful forces of the medieval period. The fortresses, castles, and outposts that the Templars built were not just military structures. They were symbols of survival. These structures not only protected territories, but also safeguarded the spiritual values that the Templars represented. While the fortresses were physical constructs, they also reflected one of the central concepts in Jung's philosophy. The unconscious is the great source of creativity. Carl Jung, Man and His Symbols. From these buildings, financial initiatives, and the battles in the Holy Land, the Templar Knights displayed boundless creativity in protecting their faith and power. In conclusion, the role of the Templar Order was not just to protect Christian pilgrims or to build a powerful military and financial empire. They were also individuals confronting deep internal conflicts within themselves, fighting not only external enemies, but also the inner conflicts of faith, power, and desire. As Carl Jung pointed out, the Knights Templar are a prime example of the process of self-development, seeking harmony between opposing elements in every individual and every organization. They were not only warriors, they were individuals challenging themselves on a journey to seek enlightenment, a journey that never truly ends. Analysis and commentary on Part 3: Accumulation of wealth and financial initiatives. In the previous section, we witnessed the Knights Templars' rapid development through the combination of religion, military power, and finance. However, their growth was not limited to military victories or complex battle strategies. One crucial factor that helped the Templars rise to become one of the most powerful organizations in history was their ability to manage finances and their creativity in economic initiatives. Despite their vow of poverty and humility, they accumulated vast wealth, marking a deep contradiction between their ideals and the reality they faced. This is not only a testament to their financial management skills, but also a symbol of one of the most complex aspects in the psychological journey of humanity that Carl Jung pointed out: the conflict between ideals and ambition. Carl Jung once said, "The most important question in life is, why are you doing what you are doing?" Carl Jung, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. If we apply this question to the story of the Knights Templar, we see that their accumulation of wealth was a complex psychological journey, driven by lofty ideals, but also inevitably caught in the web of material ambitions. When the Templars began, they swore to live in poverty and humility, expressing a strong religious ideal. But over time, as they became a powerful organization with groundbreaking financial initiatives, they faced an inner struggle about their values and life's purpose. From the very beginning, the Templars received land and property donations from Christian followers, which not only helped sustain their military operations, but also provided a solid foundation for their financial activities. They built a network of buildings, fortresses, and economic establishments to serve the Crusades, while also developing groundbreaking financial innovations like letters of credit. This was a revolutionary initiative that allowed them to transfer finances across borders without needing to carry gold or cash, creating a smooth and secure financial system across Europe and the Middle East. Carl Jung once said, "The unconscious is the great source of creativity." Carl Jung, Man and His Symbols. The Templars' financial creativity is a clear testament to Jung's idea. In the medieval context, when financial systems were still in their infancy, the invention of letters of credit was a monumental step. Not only did it help the Templars protect their wealth, but it also revolutionized Europe's entire financial system. Thanks to this initiative, the Templars were able to fund the Crusades, serve as bankers for European monarchs, and even manage royal treasuries. This demonstrates that, in addition to their military prowess and strategic ingenuity, the Templars also had the ability to innovate and master financial issues, a key factor in their long-term power and influence. However, this success in the financial field was not something the Templars could fully control. Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Carl Jung, with their rapid growth and expanding influence, the Templars faced pressures and conflicts from secular authorities and the Church. Although they swore to live in poverty, their accumulation of wealth and financial power caused dissatisfaction among religious and political leaders. The Templars became a force not only strong in military terms, but also capable of influencing political, financial, and religious decisions, gradually leading to confrontations with these powers. Moreover, the Templars' financial management was not limited to donations or simple commercial activities. Through their creativity in developing financial initiatives, they became trusted banks for monarchs and nobility. Their accounts and funds became essential sources of financing for the Crusades, as well as for military and diplomatic activities. Becoming a powerful financial institution not only helped the Templars maintain and expand their influence, but also created a strong network that connected them with nations and the Pope. Carl Jung also emphasized in psychological aspects of the self that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This can be understood as the idea that confronting the darkness, the temptations, and the craving for material power is the true path to psychological growth. The Templars, in their journey, had to face the conflict between their ideals and ambitions. They were not just warriors protecting religious faith. They were also financial managers, individuals who had transcended their original vows to build a powerful financial empire. This not only highlighted their adaptability and creativity, but also reflected the complexity of the psychological journey every individual faces when confronting internal conflicts. In conclusion, the accumulation of wealth and financial initiatives of the Templar Order was an essential part of their development and expansion of power. These initiatives not only changed medieval finance, but also helped the Templars maintain military and political power. However, this development also reflected the internal conflicts in Carl Jung's philosophy, where ideals and material ambitions intersected, creating inevitable tensions and contradictions. The Templars, through their financial creativity, proved that sometimes the greatest creativity comes not just from victories on the battlefield, but from strategic decisions and the ability to adapt in a complex world. Analysis and commentary on Part 4. The conflict and collapse of the Knights Templar. When the Knights Templar reached the pinnacle of power, finance, and military influence, it was precisely at this moment that internal conflicts and external contradictions began to arise. Through their powerful journey, from a group protecting Christian pilgrims to a formidable force in both military and financial fields, the Templars built a strong empire, not only in Europe, but also in the Middle East. However, this very prosperity became the driving force of tensions, not only with secular governments, but also with the Church. This confrontation and conflict, as a natural law, ultimately led to the collapse of the Knights Templar in the early 14th century. We can see that, as Carl Gustav Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. The Knights Templar, from their humble beginnings, became a powerful organization with vast wealth and a strong network of influence. They had truly become what they had always aspired to be: skilled warriors, protectors of religious faith. But simultaneously, they had to face a reality. Power and prosperity created resistance. It was at this point that they faced one of the most important psychological aspects Carl Jung emphasized: what you resist persists. Carl Jung, the undiscovered self. When the Templars could not control their rapid growth, their resistance to external conflicts and pressures pushed them closer to their downfall. After building a powerful organization with unparalleled military and financial might, the Templars began to create influence beyond the control of secular powers. While the Church was the source of their religious authority, political leaders, especially in France, began to worry about the Templars' independence, the financial power they held, and particularly the excessive influence the organization had over political decisions. Jung once said, "The unconscious is the great source of creativity." Carl Jung, Man and His Symbols. But it was this very creativity and uncontrollable power that became a double-edged sword. The Templars' financial and military innovations, which had once brought them power, now created a threat to other leaders. At the height of this moment, King Philip IV of France, dissatisfied with the influence of the Templars in the region, began to plan his attack on the organization. Driven by ambition and fear, he orchestrated a large-scale campaign to destroy the Knights Templar. Beginning in 1307, King Philip not only attacked the Templars for financial reasons, but also due to the conflict between secular and religious power. The Templars, with their enormous wealth and superior financial management, had become a force beyond control, threatening the dominance of the ruling powers in Europe. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung, Psychological Aspects of the Self. Therefore, the relationship between political leaders and the Templars could not help but provoke a fierce reaction, resulting in a conflict that led to the destruction of the organization. On the 13th of October 1307, the Templar leaders were arrested and charged with heresy, treason, and other crimes. This was a large-scale purge, with serious accusations and brutal tortures to force the Templar leaders to confess. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung, Psychological Aspects of the Self. In this case, the darkness the Templars had to face was the harsh truth about ambition, power, and betrayal. The organization, once a model of purity and devotion, had lost control over the invisible forces behind its ambition and power. The harsh suppression of the Templars was not only the end of an organization, but also a great lesson about the need to confront the inner darkness, the uncontrollable factors that led to their downfall. However, as Carl Jung said, the unconscious does not believe in time. It is timeless. Carl Jung, Man and His Symbols. Although the Knights Templar were destroyed and their collapse marked the end of an era, their legacy lives on forever. This legacy is not only the vast wealth they accumulated, but also the lessons about power, ambition, and confronting the darkness within each person. The conflict of the Templars is a symbol of the ceaseless struggle between ideals and reality, between light and darkness, between the perfection of ideals and the complexity of the human psyche. The fall of the Knights Templar also reflects one of Jung's important philosophies about exploring the self and the dark parts within. What you are, and what you are not. Carl Jung. Memories, dreams, reflections. The Knights Templar, though once a model of perfection in ideals, could not avoid their collapse when they failed to confront the darkness and the unchecked ambitions within them. This conflict is the critical point of the psychological journey, a journey Jung described as the path of self-discovery and self-realization. The Templars, although they faced their collapse, remain a powerful symbol of the complexity in each individual when confronting power, ambition, and belief. Thus, the collapse of the Knights Templar serves as a reminder that in life, maintaining a balance between ideals and reality, between light and darkness, is of paramount importance. These tensions, as Carl Jung pointed out, are the source of growth and psychological development. The Templars, although unable to survive the final trial, still leave behind a legacy in history as a testament to the eternal struggle between ideals and reality in humanity's journey of self-awareness and self-exploration. Analysis and commentary on Part 5. The legacy of the Templars. When we look at the collapse of the Knights Templar in the early 14th century, a major question arises. Despite their destruction, why does their legacy remain forever in the flow of history? The Knights Templar were not only a military and religious organization, but also a symbol of the deep contradictions in medieval Christian society. The combination of religious faith and the pursuit of power wealth, and influence created a legacy of immense weight, a legacy that Carl Jung might describe as the confrontation with the darkness within the human self. As Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Carl Jung, the undiscovered self, the Knights Templar, with all that they achieved over their 2-century existence, could not avoid the struggle between their noble religious ideals and their insatiable desire for power and wealth. This very contradiction, which led to their collapse, reflects an inescapable reality in the development of any organization: the decline of ideals when faced with ambition and power. And though their end came in brutal purges, the legacy of the Templars persists, not only through the military strategies and financial innovations they developed, but also through the lessons on the self, confronting the inner darkness, and the values they left behind. The influence of the Templars in military strategy and governance. The Knights Templar were not only a powerful military organization, but also one of the first to implement modern organizational and governance principles for their time. The fortresses, castles, and military establishments they built were not mere defensive structures. They were symbols of sophisticated military strategy, combined with financial initiatives that maintained their strength. The tactics of the Templars, from how they utilized military power to how they maintained and expanded their influence through financing the Crusades, laid the groundwork for military strategies in later periods. We cannot deny that, despite their tragic fall, it also reflects a truth. Carl Jung once pointed out, "In all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order." Carl Jung, Psychological Aspects of the Self. Although the Knights Templar faced chaos and disorder throughout their existence, in that chaos, they still created a tightly knit cosmos of military and financial strategy that allowed them to survive and thrive for 2 centuries, while their collapse proved that a world had collapsed. What remained were the military and organizational strategies they developed, a legacy that cannot easily be erased. The financial legacy of the Templars. From innovation to modern banking, one of the most significant legacies left by the Knights Templar was their revolutionary financial innovations, particularly the development of letters of credit. In an era when moving assets across borders was highly dangerous, the Templars invented a financial method that allowed merchants and crusaders to transfer money without carrying gold or silver. This initiative not only revolutionized medieval finance but also laid the foundation for the modern banking system we know today. Through these financial innovations, the Knights Templar proved a point Carl Jung made. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. The Red Book. The Templars' financial creativity was not a coincidence or an accident. It stemmed from a deep understanding of human nature and the need to find a way to survive and thrive in a world full of hardships and challenges. They did not just look outward into the world, they also looked deep within, recognizing the basic human needs to sustain life and wealth, thereby creating a crucial financial tool still in use today. The conflict between religious ideals and the ambition for power. The existence and legacy of the Templars not only reflect their financial and military successes, but also serve as a testament to the great contradictions within medieval Christianity. The Templars were not just warriors defending the faith. They were also individuals who transcended simplicity and humility in their quest for power, wealth, and influence. This conflict between religious faith and worldly ambition put them on a path that ultimately led to their collapse. Carl Jung said, "In order to live with the spirit of the age, You have to align with the inner world. Carl Jung, Psychological Aspects of the Self. The Templars, with their blend of ideals and ambitions, could not maintain balance between the inner world and the external world. They were caught in an ongoing conflict between the purity of religious ideals and the temptation of power and wealth. Though they succeeded in creating a powerful empire, it was their inability to confront the darkness within their own psyche that led to their destruction. The legacy and lessons from the Templars. Although the Knights Templar were destroyed, their contributions to finance, military strategy, and governance still endure, deeply influencing modern military organizations and banking systems. They left behind a legacy not only in material wealth, but also in the lessons of confronting the inner darkness, seeking balance between ideals and reality, between faith and power. Ultimately, the legacy of the Templars reminds us that success in life does not only come from victories on the battlefield or in finance. It comes from understanding and accepting the darkness within, confronting inner conflicts, and finding harmony between opposing elements within ourselves. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. The legacy of the Templars is the journey toward discovering the true self, even though, in the end, they paid the price with their collapse. However, their influence remains forever, as a symbol of strength, creativity, and a reminder of the need to face and reconcile the shadows within ourselves.